Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on BIA Center for Excellence in Business Communication. Today, we have a very special guest with us who found out her passion a few years ago, and she has started uh, working greatly on it. And she has now taught people from 60 countries, more than 60 countries, and she teaches English and business English to these people. And not just that, in addition to teaching, she is also a mentor for many people. And to be precise, she has conducted more than 150 sessions for in terms of mentoring people who are online educators in particular. And she is someone who is Cambridge CELTA certified trainer, and she has been uh, pretty much occupied doing all these sessions over the last couple of years. And you can know better about her expertise when we start talking to her. But one more thing that I would like to add is that in addition to conducting so many sessions, she is also one of the co-owners of the MKS farm in Puducherry. So I don't know how people manage to do all at once. Uh, I'm eager to know about her teaching experience, her mentoring experience, and more importantly, how she manages everything. So, with that said, I'm very happy to welcome someone who has been recognized as the LinkedIn top voice for mentoring and someone with 5,000 plus hours of teaching experience and who is known all over the world, I could precisely say, I believe. So, at least the number of Commonwealth countries is equal to that of what she has taught. Thank you so much for joining us, Kalaivani. It's wonderful to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Balaji. It's a pleasure to be here. And thanks for that kind introduction. And thanks for being so kind enough.
Pleasure, pleasure. So, more than being kind, I'm just telling people what you did. So, to start with, what motivated you to get into teaching?
Um, I would say, I mean, that's kind of a long story. In fact, I should go back, uh, you know, rolling back to my childhood and things like that. It's a passion, I would say, my childhood passion. So, for example, we would ask, right, when we ask a small kid, what do you want to become when you're big? So it's always, I would say, I want to be a teacher when I was a school kid. And then when I
Then
grew
you
up,
must have done engineering then.
definitely, yes. The thing is, I'm more of a dad's girl. So, in fact, to be frank, when I was in grade 12, I had no idea of what to do next because
Same here.
I knew one thing, whatever I'm going to learn, I'm going to teach that. So that's how I had set up my mind. So whatever profession I'm into, I just wanted to become a lecturer, a professor, whatever in that. And it was my dad who told me, okay, you go for engineering. And so when I was an engineering student, all that I wanted to become was an engineering lecturer or a professor. So I was always getting into presenting seminars, and because in my university we had a practice where the usually, for example, we have 5 units, only 4 units will be taught by the professors. The last unit will be assigned as
Ah,
kind
common
of
thing.
seminars where the students will have to
Yes.
present it. So it's like I always keep waiting for that last unit because that's where I can, exhibit my teaching skills and things like that. So that's something that I really enjoyed throughout my schools and also my university
How did you
days.
jump from science to
So
English?
that was a coincidence, in fact. It was not planned at all. So after my marriage, actually, I had to accompany my husband and his brother-in-law. Mine is an extended joint family, so we are running a couple of businesses here in my city. So my husband, along with his brother, they are taking care of it. So after my marriage, I had to join the team. So I was accompanying them and with some not the because they were taking care of majority of things. So mine was very much related to business English. In fact, again, as I said, that was a gradual transformation because it was not planned at all. So I was kind of managing his emails and orders, and sometimes we also attended meetings. Sometimes when we have new proposals to the banks and things like that, so I attended those meetings. So it was kind of negotiation, persuasion, and all these things. It just gradually came up, and it was not at all planned. it's something that I picked up on the spot. So we had to do it for our business, and that's how I went into it. And gradually, I started training our own employees there because they were kind of answering customers' queries, and we used to get kind of compliments and also complaints or inquiries. So I was basically telling them how to handle things and how to, because customer is the king in any businesses. So that's how I got into this business
So,
English kind of
was it
training.
purely need-based training, or
Yes.
did you have some kind of an aha moment where you realized, I would love to do this?
Not really. It was completely need based because I had to do that for my own business and my employees. So that's how it was going until pandemic. So
Okay.
it was during the pandemic when our businesses were completely shut down and we were all at home. And that's the thing. In fact, I would say that came as we call a light. I'm sorry. I mean, I lost the phrase. To see something good in every bad situation, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the moment when I thought, okay, why not use this time for kind of upskilling myself? So that's the time when I was looking for what opportunities are there, especially online, because I was not planning to leave my city for a job or something, or neither can I go out. I cannot get kind of committed to a full-time job or 8 hours job going out and then coming back because that's how my lifestyle is here. Basically I had to take care of a few responsibilities with my own businesses. So that's when I was thinking of what training to go with because basically if you go for a teacher training course or something, you have to spend years and years. And I was not sure if lockdown is going to be extended for years. So whatever has to be
Thank
done,
God it
I
didn't.
had only few months. Yes, thankfully. So whatever it has to be done, it's like I have very less time now. I want to do something with this period. So I was planning for some courses which would may take, for example, 3 to 5 months maximum. So that's how I found out about CELTA, and then I prepared myself for that. So the preparation itself took around 3 to 4 months because, as I said, I was completely not into this field for 10 to 15 years. And then it's like all of a sudden it's a complete transformation. So I was preparing for it and then got into it. And I'm here today.
Wonderful. So, if all this happened after the lockdown, so in the last 4 to 5 years, you have reached this stage of being the LinkedIn top voice, 5,000 plus hours of teaching and reaching 60 plus countries. How did all this happen?
Um, to be frank, I would say um, I just gracefully, accepted things as it went. I mean, I'm just going with the flow, I would say. One thing is about LinkedIn, I just love is the way it opens door for you with different opportunities.
Mm.
And especially being in India, working for multiple companies across the world was quite challenging at the beginning because I was kind of figuring out how to manage time and how to put these different time zones on my schedule. Because, for example, I work for a company in Chile. That's the first company I started working with. It's about 9.5 hours time difference between Chile and India. So the only option that I had is I can work in the evenings for the company or my early mornings. And I'm a morning person, so and again as a family uh, as a mother, I mean, daughter-in-law, so I had my own responsibilities throughout the day. So these evenings and early mornings really worked out well for me. It's the time when everything has settled down, basically my family chores, so it's all done, and then I can spend some time for my classes. And in the early morning, it's like no disturbances at all. Everyone else is sleeping, so I can completely concentrate on my work. So I used to wake up around 3:30 or 4 in the morning,
Oh
and
God.
I had classes for 2 to 2.5 hours in the morning, say 4 to 6:30 or maximum until 7 o'clock in the morning. And then it's like my regular family chores,
And how
preparing
many hours of
breakfast
sleep
and
did you get?
lunch. I used to sleep around 6 to 7 hours, and
Okay.
that was working well. I mean, I go to bed early at night, say 10:30.
Okay, so most of your classes were in the early morning and late evening. From which countries did you have the students from?
Not late evenings, I would say the evenings, as I said,
Evenings.
from
Okay.
Chile. That's the first thing that I started with. So that's their mornings. So they used to take in their mornings, which would be my evenings.
Okay.
So usually I take it around say 7:30 in the
Hmm.
evening. So 7:30 to 9, something like that.
Starting with
Initially I started working only for 3 to 4 hours, not more than that.
okay. Uh,
Initially.
Starting with a non-English speaking country like Chile must have been a huge challenge, that too online.
Actually, actually, I was thinking the same, but it really helped me because they have a completely different perspective. Because even here in India, for example, we have already adapted English as our medium of education,
Hmm. Yes.
right? We are not learning anything in our native languages. But whereas in Chile, even their university education is in Spanish.
Oh.
So English has been introduced to them just as an additional language, just like how we learn other state languages here. For
Mhm.
example, it could be Hindi or say French or any other options. It's just another option for them. And they just know only the basics that do the written format of English. So they have very less exposure to spoken English mainly because
Hmm.
their work atmosphere, everything, their business transactions, emails, and everything is in Spanish.
So
So
how did you
they
manage?
have very less exposure to English. So that was a plus,
Okay.
right? So that really helped actually.
So you must have
That was really
started
a
with
plus.
elementary level learners or
It depends
pre-intermediate.
because as I said, I worked for a company. They used to assign me
Okay.
learners accordingly. So I worked with every level, I would say, starting from A1, A2 to C1.
Oh. So in that case, which level of proficiency was quite challenging for you to teach?
That's a difficult question to answer because again, it depends on the learner. I mean, every learner is unique. I wouldn't say anything particular because there is one thing I would say that is kind of an expectation from the lower level learners because they preferred someone who knew Spanish. So
Hmm.
that was the thing that I found challenging because I don't know even a single
So
word of
when
Spanish when I
you
joined.
came across that challenge, what did you do?
I just encouraged them, if I just told them like instead of translating and explaining, try to understand in English. So it's more like grading my own language. I simplified as much as possible, and through say actions more than verbal, I started using non-verbal things, and
Ah,
the
okay.
first thing is giving them the confidence. I would say
How do
any
you do
learner,
that?
whether they are lower level or upper level, giving them the confidence. I wanted to make them feel comfortable with me in the classroom. So initially we had those kind of getting to know each other activities and kind of games. So in a way they were practicing English, but through gamified things.
Oh,
So they
lovely.
really enjoyed those sessions with me and they started feeling comfortable with me. And that's when it just, they started continuing and
So
it
when
really
you
worked
say
out well.
games, can you tell our people about what kind of games do you play? Because nobody wants to learn, so everyone wants to play. So if you can combine the two, it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what kind
Yeah,
of
there
games?
are a lot, right? For example, especially when it comes to online teaching, this is the biggest advantage, I would say. Is when we are talking about something, let's say if the learner is making mistakes with the past forms. For example, when I ask, okay, what did you do during your weekend? And the person says, okay, I go to the gym. And that clearly gives me a signal that this person has a problem using past simple in their speech. So it's like I just pick one from word wall or maybe Kahoot game, which gives the differences between using a present simple and the past simple. And I say, okay, come on, play a game. Now it's like a way that they play the game, but at the same time, they are now identifying the differences between using a simple past tense or a present simple tense. So it's
Um,
actually fun. It just works out really well with
do
learners,
you have
especially.
to build these games or are they readily available?
Not really. It's all available. It's all available readily. There are
Okay.
a lot of resources online.
Lovely. Okay. So once you share a list, I would love to post it in the description for any of the teachers who
Definitely.
is watching this. And
Definitely.
I'd like to ask you, you are a mentor for many teachers. When someone with no experience in teaching wants to get into teaching, particularly teaching language, uh, what would you want them to do? Because not everyone can go for
So
self-taught. So that's the group of
that's
people
true.
I wish
That's
to
true.
focus on. Yeah.
That's true. So there are, I mean, this is like a big, uh, I would say it's a different universe, in fact, teaching online, because there are a lot of things that you can teach. So when you are very much specified about language teaching, now it again comes whether you're going to teach it through companies or are you going to build your own kind of market. So where you have your own private students and things like that. So it's completely about the person and their own skills. But when it comes to a language teaching, the first thing is you need the proficiency in the language. So you need to brush up your own language skills, especially there are a lot of books. Maybe I would also add those in the description once we are ready to post this online. Especially these books gives you the idea of what kind of learner mistakes are typical and how you can help them understand that. So identifying learner's mistake happens only when you have a sound knowledge about the language itself, and you should know how to make the learner understand that this is wrong and it has to be like this without making them feel low. Because sometimes there are learners who feel low when you point out their mistakes. And when they speak, for example, the same example, when they say, okay, because they are really excited sharing that. When I ask them, okay, what did you do on the weekend? And they say, Vani, I go to the gym. If I stop them there, that's something which would actually cut their confidence down. So
Mm.
I usually don't do that because again, it comes with the training that I have had, especially with CELTA. So we have a lot of error correction techniques.
Yes.
It's completely a lot of I would say practice and how you are preparing yourself, especially books from Jim Scribner.
Mm.
I would say he's like the godfather. I really love the book,
Absolutely.
Learning
Yes.
Teaching. So these are the things that really helps.
So, when you talk about these books like Jim Scrivener's Learning Teaching, do you read them at a stretch or do you use it as a reference book?
So I read them at the stretch because
Hmm.
during CELTA I had to learn and a lot of things related to the sessions that we have had, and also for the rationale and well building the lesson plans, we had to go through certain chapters. So that's how I started using them. And yes, of course, because reading at the stretch, because for me at least, reading at the stretch is something that will never work because I cannot store so much of information at a stretch. So it's always the need that takes you towards it. So when there is something that I would like to know or something that I find something else online and I want some reference related to that, I refer the books. And
Lovely.
that's how I spot what I need.
Sometimes people tend to look at the book and think like, I can't read this. So that's why I wanted to say that you don't have to necessarily read the book. You can use it as a reference.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
For anyone who is new to teaching, how can they find jobs related to teaching?
Okay. That's That's a difficult, actually a challenging situation as a non-native speaker, frankly speaking, because there are a lot of companies, of course, it's a huge market and there is always demand. But the thing is, you need to have a neutral accent mainly because there is always a demand for the native speakers. That's a bitter truth, and it's something that we cannot deny. But at the same time, I wouldn't say there are very less opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities. The thing is, you need to be patient enough. And as I said, LinkedIn has helped me a lot. So just like
So,
that,
how
you
do
have to
you
build
look
your
for
network.
jobs on LinkedIn?
Basically, I use the search option. I mean, I have a list of jobs that I have shortlisted, and that's how LinkedIn keeps sending you notifications. Plus, I started building my network. So that's actually what helped me because only the first job was something that I found, I Googled and researched and I found it. And basically after that, well, how I started working for the Netherlands company called as LearnLight, and then I joined British Council. So these are all through my LinkedIn contacts because there
Okay.
are people who post jobs and I directly reached out to them and asking them, is it okay if I apply, and there are, for example, the one that I got with British Council, they were specifically looking for teachers from India, Canada, or the UK. So there are job specifications that and it's just a matter of luck. I mean, it's like you're always on the outlook for these jobs, and there is something one or the other that comes your way, and that's how you make use of the opportunity.
So it's important to be actively looking as well, in addition.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
So how many companies are you currently working with?
Now I'm associated with three companies, one in
Wonderful.
Chile, one in Netherlands, and the other one is British Council, basically from England,
So Chile, Netherlands, British Council, and British Council is global, I guess. You have students
global.
from all
Yeah.
over the globe.
And
And
Netherlands is also global. I think only the Chilean company is Latin American. The rest are global.
And also managing your business in Pondicherry, managing your family, different time zones. So you said that you start early in the morning and teach later in the evening, and but then you also have other many other things to do. Um, how come you are super energetic despite all of this? And yeah,
The thing is, when your passion becomes your job, you'll do anything for it.
completely agree. Yes, doesn't
So
matter how much you work
that's the
hard.
thing that is driving me. I mean, that's the only thing which is driving me. I sit back to back sometimes, 3 to 4 hours of classes. But this is something that I've received as a compliment from my own learners as well. They say, Vani, whether it is early morning classes or late evening classes, you look always the same. Because when it is in front of my learner, when it's like maybe after the session, I'm like, ah, enough. It might happen, but it's not
Exhausting.
in front of the learner, because when I see them, it's the energy that they are giving me. So they are here to learn something from me, and they trust me, and that's what I can give them, right? The maximum.
So,
And I try to give my best in whatever I do. And as I said earlier, it's my passion. And when my passion has become my job, it's like double energy now. So
and
nothing can stop.
when people do a lot of things, they sometimes tend to ignore their health. What do you do to take care of your health?
That's a good question, and something that I recently realized, to be frank, because as I said, I was too obsessed with teaching, and I was just looking for every opportunity and everything that came my way. I was accepting it and going for it. And as I said, I work for different time zones. That really helped because I could schedule the sessions in a way that is not kind of altering or it was not affecting my daily routine, whether it is my family time or the lunch time that we have together or the evening time that I spend with my kids or something like that. So I was trying to have certain breaks throughout the day because it's a freelancing job. So, for example, I gave my morning slot to the Netherlands company, which is, for example, because I had students from Germany or sometimes it's from Hungary. So their early mornings would be my mid morning, somewhere around 10, 10:30, 11:30. So usually my kids leave to school around 8 o'clock and then my husband leaves around 9, 9:30. And from 10:30 onwards, it's like my time. So I gave this mid morning slot, for example, 10:30, 12:30 to this Netherlands company. So these 2 hours, I had students from Germany or Hungary, something like that. So that was going with a nice, it correctly matched actually. And then I had my lunch break. And the afternoon I gave for the British Council. So UK's morning is my afternoon, the Indian afternoon, right? So we have around 4.5 during again, their time zone changes every year. They have the
As a
DST,
as a teacher,
daylight saving time zone.
do you think of online? Sorry, do you think of artificial intelligence as a boon or a bane?
See that as a boon. Any technology is a boon or a bane, depends on how you use it, right? So basically, how you make use of it. And AI is going to really assist teachers, or it's going to be teachers' assistant, I would say. It's a boon.
So one thing where I find it coming in pretty handy is the question papers. We don't have to work on them anymore. We can just automate them.
Exactly. Exactly.
What do you use AI for?
Basically, I use for material creation, as you say, for quick assignments or again, because I love using games in class. So there are AI tools like quizzes, something that I've been recently experimenting with, which is really
Okay.
lovely because you can create, for example, I use another one called as Diffit. So you can create a material there. All that you need is just, it can also be from a YouTube video. For example, I use a lot of TED Talks in my lessons. So it's like you just take a small clip and then you can use this tool, which can actually make you a list of important vocabulary used and also make you some questions with multiple choice kind of, giving
Wonderful.
options. So you can, it's like it just takes 5 minutes. It's only the matter of copying and pasting. You copy paste it here, it gives you the lesson material what you need, and you copy paste this to another AI tool which converts it into a game. And that's it. It's ready. So by the time the learner joins, you have what you need for the next 1 hour to keep him engaged. So it's lovely.
Wonderful. Uh, I was about to ask you something. I think I forgot. Yeah, how did you become the LinkedIn top voice?
Actually, LinkedIn, there is a feature where you can share your thoughts,
Mm.
because there are pages for different skills. For example, the one that I was into is the mentoring. Similarly, there are leadership skills, and there are a lot of skills. And these pages, you need to comment on what they have already posted. Basically, they have
Okay.
some kind of ideas shared. It could be an issue, or
So
it
you
could be
can't
something
post,
that
you can
is.
comment on the post when you start.
I'm sorry if I get that correctly. Not really. There are like certain topics where you can comment.
Okay, okay,
And there are also people who have already commented, and you can reply to their posts. So
okay,
basically, when you comment for three or more in a particular skill, you get that batch.
okay.
And in order to keep it, I mean, you have to retain it, you have to be continuing doing this. That's the idea.
Good. So when do you make time for LinkedIn?
Um, I think that is a hack, I would say. I mean, a simple tip. That's the waiting time, because usually I start my meetings at least 5 to 10 minutes before the class time.
Yes.
So that time when I'm waiting for the learner to join, it's the time when I quickly check LinkedIn
Oh
or
God.
something because I don't have anything specified.
You're not even wasting 5 minutes. So what is there anything you do to just just unwind or something like that? Do you
Of course, yoga helps me.
oh lovely. Okay.
I actually spend around 45 minutes mostly. At least I'm trying because as that was the question that you asked earlier, right? When it comes to health, because that is something I really found. I mean, that was a self-realization when I started getting kind of back pain after for prolonged sitting, and I also started gaining weight. So that's when it's like my body is giving me signals. Okay, Vani, come on, stop. Look at me. So that's exactly when I realized, okay, now I have to also concentrate on this. And you'd be surprised, I also put this hour on the schedule because I got so sticked to the timetable. Now, if I don't put it on the schedule, there is something or the other that comes away. So
Mm.
what I do is I've put it on the schedule. Now, at least I'm managing 5 days a week. So I spend around 40, 45 minutes doing meditation and yoga, and that's really helping me. And I would say I would really advise that for others as well who are working online, sitting for a long time, at your desk. Please go for yoga. You need some stretches for your back. That really helps.
Wonderful. So yes, is there anything that you would like to tell teachers who find it difficult to let go? So sometimes you can't get the learner learn what they want to learn or what you want to teach them. So when to let go, or how to let go, or is it okay to let
I
go?
mean, it is always okay. I mean, not everything goes as per plan, right? And there will be surprises as well. So you might not be expecting, and it's like all of a sudden you'll be flooded with learners and you won't find slots how to fit them in. That also happens. So patience, be consistent, keep on trying, and patience is the key. And
Wonderful.
it's mainly the networking. So use platforms like LinkedIn, and of course I've seen you being active on YouTube and Instagram. So to be frank, I'm not that active on Instagram or YouTube, but that I've heard from other teachers. That's really helping to find a lot of learners, especially when they are posting free contents. So that's how they exhibit what they are, and they demonstrate their skills there, and that's how you start getting learners who approach.
So, despite not using other platforms like YouTube or Instagram, you use only LinkedIn, and so you are able to get a lot of work, keep yourself occupied, and do everything. Though you chose just one platform. So, how consistently do you post on LinkedIn?
Um, I mean, frankly speaking, I don't have any particular planned schedule or something like that. But I keep posting now and then, at least on the special days, for example, when we have Teachers' Day, or is there anything universally celebrated or something like that, or when I have my own personal achievements. It's like something that I do to encourage myself, for us for self motivation. So when I have my own personal achievement, for example, the one that you mentioned, I that was kind of a milestone because I usually have a record where whenever I have classes with students from other countries, I just keep on making a note of which country they are from. So that way, on a particular day, it was kind of it reached 60. Of course, 60 is not a special number. I should have posted this when I reached 50, or I should have waited for 100. But I don't know why. On that day, I was like, okay, I should take this, I should take this to my LinkedIn post. All of a sudden, I posted it because that's how it happens. I mean, there's nothing planned. And the same happened with mentoring teachers. It was almost 150 sessions. I was wondering, why did I miss my 100th session? So that's completely unplanned. And similarly, like, when I was looking into the records and it was 150. Okay, nice. So it's 150. Let me post it. So that's how it is. So small achievements, something that I enjoy, and again, as I said, it's like something to motivate myself, something that keeps me driving.
So I mainly ask this because sometimes people beat themselves up for not being consistent, and or they feel bad that they cannot or they are not comfortable being on YouTube or Instagram. But despite that, we can do plenty of things. And you stand as a wonderful example for
Basically,
that.
basically, I would just tell one thing for teachers who are, I mean, we should not compare what others are doing and not try to do what others are doing. Just be yourself, whatever you feel comfortable. Because as I said, I'm not so comfortable with Instagram or YouTube. Basically, that's the time is one of my biggest problem. I don't have enough time for that. And the other thing is I'm not comfortable. So if I were comfortable with that, maybe I would have spent some time on that as well. Because the thing is, I am not able to put much time into it or research or do what I want to do there. So basically, when I don't know something, I don't want to waste my time on that. So it's like a unique thing, right? So when you're comfortable with something, invest time in that and see what you can do the best in that particular thing. So basically, it's their own perspective, what they are comfortable doing and what they are good at doing.
Uh, well, thank you so much, Vani, for answering all our questions patiently. I'm sure it would help a lot of teachers, particularly the teachers who are novice, who are new to the teaching field. I think they would get a lot from this. And you have told us about some tools that we can use online. Thanks for that too. We wish you a great career, happiness, good health, and everything to come your way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for inviting me, Balaji. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.